So here we go, 2 days in France for the Women's World Cup. Unfortunately, my original plan has changed a little bit because I bought tickets for 2 different matches, not realising that the first match was going to be a logistical nightmare to get to. So unfortunately, Netherlands against Cameroon is not happening, but fear not, we've got United States against Chile. And you know, this is Paris, it's one of the most important cities in the world. I'm sure I'm going to be able to find a few things I can do with my time, both football and non-football related. Including Red Star, the Paris version, not the Belgrade one. This club was founded by Jules Rimet, who's until now is the longest serving FIFA president and was one of the key figures in setting up the first ever World Cup. Now this is the second oldest club in France. If you can tell me the oldest club in the comments without googling it, then I will tip my hat to you. This club have won the French Cup, the Coupe de France, 5 times, but these guys are basically the ultimate yo-yo team. Now since they last played in Ligue 1, which was in 1974-1975, they've played in each of the top 6 tiers in French football. They've just actually been relegated to the French National, which is the 3rd tier. Now there's good news and there's bad news. The good news is that the relegation means that the club is going to be able to return to its spiritual home, the Stade Bauer, named after Jack, which you can see behind me. Now when they've been in Ligue 2, they've basically been forced to play away from this ground as it's been deemed not suitable for the French 2nd tier. So they've basically been all over Paris. They were even up in Beauvais, which I flew into this morning. I can tell you Ryanair is not anywhere near Paris really. And the bad news is, well, that they were relegated. Just one last point of interest is that this club have what they call a creative director, and that creative director is none other than David Bellion. Bet you've not heard his name for a while. Now the Man United legend himself described the club as an underground old school club that has really close ties with the local community, so that's why it's even more important for them to come back to play in the Stade Bauer. Now as part of his role, he is in charge of tying football in with various cultural aspects, with fashion, with art, with music. I've no idea what that really means, but it sounds pretty interesting. I know basically every league has its regulations nowadays, but it's such a shame. Look at this place, it's absolutely brilliant. With the terracing at the far end behind the goal there, you can just imagine all the ultras piled in, and even the kind of curva they've got around here. Look at this. Now in the VIP section is just normal plastic seating, then you know you're at an old school ground, proper old school, apart from the artificial pitch. And what a place this is behind me, by the way. The Stade de France, 80,000 plus capacity, which makes it the 8th biggest stadium in Europe. It was built specifically for the 1998 World Cup. It was opened in January of that year. France took on Spain. It was 1-0 to France. Who scored the only goal of the game? Of course, it was Zinedine Zidane. And Zizou would be back a few months later to famously lift the World Cup with 2 goals in the final against Brazil. Possibly just because of my age, the 1998 World Cup was the best World Cup that I've seen in my lifetime. I think also the fact that you had the Road to World Cup 98 video game, absolutely loved that. And also just memories of running home from school to catch Brazil taking on Scotland in the first game of that World Cup. Also, I think I've mentioned this before on different videos, but my dad is French, which means that when Scotland are rubbish, which unfortunately is most of the time, I don't have to feel like I'm a glory hunter supporting France. Of course, also been the Champions League finals in 2000 and 2006. A whole host of games were played here in Euro 2016, including the final, obviously, the Rugby World Cup. In fact, last night there was the final of the Rugby Top 14. Various cup finals of the French domestic cup competitions, the Athletics World Championships. What about the game that's had the biggest attendance in the Stade de France short history? What do you think? France-Brazil 98 final, European Championship final in 2016, Champions League finals? No, obviously it was Guingamp against Rennes in the 2009 Coupe de France final. And if you knew that already, then I'm lost for words. And although this is obviously a football channel, when you come to Paris, there are certain things that you just have to see and certain things that you just have to do. Okay, this is it. Time for the main event, or at least the pre-main event. I love these player portraits outside the FIFA fan experience. We've got Wendy Renard with foxes in the background because Renard is the French word for fox. but possibly my favourite one, and it's not because I'm biased, is this one of Kim Little. And we've got Little Kim Littles. FIFA fan experience. Let's see what shambles FIFA have managed to conjure up this time. Yes, it's not even half time, and Sweden are 3-0 up against Thailand already.
Pour les États-Unis, qui avaient profité de la fatigue.
Right, okay, so we're down to the main event, USA against Chile. I did have a pre-match spiel prepared, but I'm with this man here, I'm with Chris, who knows far more about women's football than I do. So I thought I'd get his thoughts on a few things related to the World Cup. You've been here since, what day have you been here?
Thursday.
You don't remember very much, but
no, it's been a bit of a haze, shall we say. Paris and Red and back again. Oh, rained, everything amazing. But yeah, it's been excellent so far. And I mean, what, an hour before kickoff, and this is definitely the most mental it's been so far.
Okay, yeah. So this is your third game now, isn't it?
Yeah.
How are you finding the experience in general so far?
So the first one. Sorry, distracted by singing. Yeah, it's been really good. The first game I went to was South Africa, China at the Park of France, where we're standing just now. Bit of a family atmosphere, let's be honest, but it was really good. And the crowd's really good, lots of noise. And then Scotland fans, so I was in Rennes to see us get beaten by Japan. But that was good. It was like a PG tartan army, that's how I've described it so far.
Oh yeah, I like it.
But I think probably the big thing is once you get to the stadiums, there's quite a lot going on. Maybe not necessarily in the cities themselves, especially in Paris, apart from the fan zone, but it's been really good.
Well, I know that's something a bit criticism about FIFA, didn't it? They've not been advertising maybe as much as they should have been. I don't know how you feel about it walking around in Paris. Do you think, have you seen a lot of kind of advertising?
No.
You could do a bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. I think once you get to the fan zone, you know it's there. You come to the centre, which is kind of where it is.
Yeah.
But unless you're at the grounds, we were talking earlier on about tickets.
Yeah.
This is billed as a sellout today, but there's been other games billed as sellouts that I've had that have a lot of empty seats.
A lot of games seem to be empty seats.
Yeah, so.
Okay, right, so today we've got the 3 times winners USA against Chile. USA obviously absolutely hammered Thailand. 13, ended up 13-0, I think.
13-0, yeah.
Chile got any chance today?
Everybody's got a chance, apart from Chile and Thailand when they're playing the USA today. Yeah, I think this is very much a case of Chile seeing how they can keep the score down and at least keep them competitive with the hope of getting that third place from Thailand.
That's what it's about. I think a lot of teams have got that chance of sneaking into the third spot, don't they, and coming through. So at least they've got that to cling on to, I guess.
Yeah, the only thing to worry about that is obviously goal difference. And if Chile get ruled for the day, then that's
it. Yeah. So there you go. You heard it here first. 1-0 Chile. Right, get following this man on Twitter if you're a fan of women's football, of Scottish football, of Spanish football, or just of football.
Pies too.
And pies. Come into the entrance bit because there was like 20 minutes to sit in the sun before kick-off, which might be the most Scottish behaviour ever. But I have to say, there's a good vibe about this game. Really good vibe. Both sets of fans mingling really well, both making a fair amount of noise.
So a penalty. Nobody knows why, but it's a penalty. Oh, there we go. Foul inside the area. What a terrible penalty. Terrible. Oh, just watch the game.
Well, I think you'd have to say that was the very definition of a routine victory for the United States. That did look like it was going to be a lot worse for Chile at half-time, to be fair, so it was good to see them put up a bit of a fight in the second half. Saying that, I'm not sure they actually had an effort on goal in the second half, or in the first for that matter. And their goalkeeper, Christiana Edler, who I think is undoubtedly one of the best goalkeepers in the competition, also made a few world-class saves to keep the score down. So USA, they basically just looked a lot bigger, much stronger, much faster, just more athletic in general. I'm glad that I got the chance to see them. If I was only going to get to go to one game, they do look like they're a proper team, and although I'm not going to pretend that I've suddenly become a women's football expert, it looks to me as if they're going to take some beating in this World Cup. The other reason I'm glad I got to see the USA is also because of the buzz that seems to surround a lot of their matches. I know there have been plenty of fans that have come over from the States and pretty much have following the team around while they're at the World Cup. I think there's just a lot of interest in their games in general. So we discussed the FIFA's shortcomings before the match with Chris, so I'm not going to go back over them. Luckily it didn't really affect this match, which was almost a sellout, and there was just a really great atmosphere in general. So luckily as well, the game was not too badly hit by VAR. I think they used it on a couple of occasions, but it was done and dusted with pretty quickly. Now, to be totally honest with you, VAR has been doing my head in this tournament, so I'm not going to go into that in too much detail now, because if I start, I could be here ranting all day about it. Anyway, this is my last video of 2018-2019, and I feel like the World Cup is quite a nice way to wrap up the season. It's been quite hard going this year for a few different reasons, but I've still managed to complete the Madrid Tercera group, got some good playoff games in, and a World Cup as well, so it's not been too bad in the end. Thank you to every single one of you who's watched, who's commented on, who's liked and who's shared any of my videos. I say the same thing every week, but it genuinely means a lot that you take time out of your lives to listen to me basically talking nonsense most of the time. And of course, can't sign off without reminding you of the usual stuff. Please subscribe on YouTube and get following on social media if you haven't done so already. Tell your friends, tell your family. I'm not going to make any promises about the vlog before next season, but you will be hearing from me one way or another before long. Have a great summer, and I'll see you when I see you.